So what comic books did I pick up this week? Stick around to find out. What is going on, you guys? This is Mark from the Chumpcast. As usual, before we get started, if you haven't done so already, please go ahead, click that subscribe button down below, smash that like button, hit that notification bell so you can get updates whenever I post new videos just like this. You can also find me on Instagram at MarkNerdyAF. I'd love to interact with you guys there. I post a lot of photos about my statue collecting, comic books that I picked up, trading cards, things like that. All that nerdy shit is on my Instagram, so go ahead, hit me that follow. I'd really appreciate it. And without further ado, let's get into it. This was a huge week, specifically for covers. There were a lot of badass covers that dropped, a lot of covers that I really wasn't expecting to look so freaking good, but I had to have them. You'll see that I picked up quite a few books, and honestly, I'm not mad about it. First book I have here for our indie titles is Crossover by Image Comics. This is written by Donny Cates. This is a really hot series right now, you guys. So if you're not up to date, this series follows this girl right here who works at a comic book shop, and she is trying to do the right thing by helping out a little girl who has superpowers. Well, the reason she has superpowers is because we don't know yet, but there are a bunch of superheroes that all of a sudden just showed up on Earth, and the people of Earth were just pretty much scared to coexist with them. So they bubbled them off. They put them in a bubble in a city, and they just don't want them to be a part of society. Really good story. If you're not reading this, I highly suggest you go to your comic book shop and pick up. You should be able to pick up 1, 2, and 3 here. And this is a variant cover by Todd McFarlane. And you'll see here there actually are a bunch of these variants. They look the same, but they're actually not. This main character here is reading a different comic in a lot of the variants. Right here, she's reading Savage Dragon #1. And there are some other variants where she's like reading Spawn issue #1 and some other titles. Cool book, cool variants, great story. Pick it up. Next up is actually the last title for the indies that I picked up this week, and that's The Last Witch #1. This is a Boom Studios title. It is actually by, I think it's subsidiary of Boom Studios, which is Boombox. Overall, this publisher has been putting out some of my favorite books in recent months. So I figured, new series, why not? Gonna give it a read. Seemed pretty interesting. I believe there's obviously this witch. I think she's a good witch, where she's trying to do away with a lot of dark magic and fight off some evil people. Not gonna lie to you guys, one of the main reasons why I picked this up is actually because this is a Peach Momoko cover. This is the 1 per store sketch variant. There is another variant that I believe is a 1 in 25 where this is actually colored. Peach Momoko is a very popular artist right now, and I have always been fond of her work. So whenever there's a pretty good-looking cover that she puts out, I'm always one of the first to grab it. This might end up being a title that gets optioned for a show or movie in the long run. A lot of these publishers like Boom Studios or Dark Horse or whatever, they get these Netflix series and these shows optioned. So I'm always interested to pick up new titles for these indie publishers. All right, we're going to fly through this right now. You're going to see I picked up a lot of Marvel books as well as DC. DC released their Future State titles this week. Pretty big deal. We'll get into that. But first off for Marvel is The Amazing Spider-Man 56. I want to talk about all these covers that I'm going to be showing you guys. These are the Alien variant covers. Marvel now owns the rights to the Alien franchise. And this is, I guess, their way of kind of saying like, hey, don't forget, we own this now, and there's going to be some up-and-coming Alien books that we're going to be putting out. I'm all for that. I love Alien titles. I've always been picking up any Alien comics that hit the shelves. So this is The Amazing Spider-Man 56. You'll see Alien on the cover there. And Amazing Spider-Man 55 was pretty hyped up, 2 weeks ago or whenever it came out. There was that one cover, I think it was by Gleason or who did it? I don't know. It was like black and white. That cover was really hot. People were freaking out about it. I honestly, it was a cool cover, but I don't know why it got as hot as it did. But that's what happens in the comic book community, whether you like it or not. Books like that, if it's speculation or if somebody just says, oh my God, this is a must-have cover, and that word spreads, people are going to rush after that book. But this is The Amazing Spider-Man 56. And Nick Spencer is still writing this. I didn't think he was going to write after issue 55. I actually thought that was going to be his last issue 2 weeks or whatever ago it was. But I guess not. So he's still writing for The Amazing Spider-Man. It's been a pretty solid series. It hasn't been the most amazing thing ever, but go ahead and pick this up. Next up is Miles Morales, Spider-Man number 22. This is another Alien cover I grabbed. And I don't know, I just saw all these Alien covers, and I guess I'm just a sucker for that kind of stuff where they just cross over, two different type of universes into one. I mean, this is a pretty big moment for Marvel. So I thought, yeah, I'm just going to grab these Alien covers. I do like Alien a lot. If that's not your thing, I don't know if I'd recommend it, especially not recommend grabbing all these covers that I did with Alien on them. But I do like them. A lot of them look really badass. So that's one of the main reasons why I grabbed this book. I've been following Miles Morales Spider-Man somewhat. It's been hit or miss, but I'm not too engaged with the story. Frankly, guys, I picked this up because of the cover, but do what you want. All right, well, this is a phenomenal series that is still running real strong. That is Venom, and this is issue number 32. Of course, this is the Alien variant. And I wanted to also talk about how you guys will notice that a lot of the times I don't pick up cover A. And in the comic book community, especially the people that are speculating on the value of certain books and their first appearances of characters and things like that, people will always tell you, get cover A. Get whatever the hell you want. Get what you like. That's going to be my advice. If you're looking to flip it within a week, well then, yeah, follow the market and see what people are getting and what's hot. If it's cover A, B, C, whatever it is, then I guess. But you know what? Even if there's a first appearance or something crazy happens in the issue where I know this value of the comic is going to spike, I'm going to grab the cover that I like. I'm going to grab the cover that just resonates with me. I don't really care about all the hype over like, oh, always go with cover A. Guys, that's bull. Grab what you want, honestly. Unless you're trying to flip it the day after, and maybe you'll make an extra 10, 15 bucks. But sometimes cover B is hotter than cover A. That's my little spiel. I'm done. But Venom is an amazing series. This is also written by Donny Cates. This is a Ryan Brown variant Alien cover. This might be my favorite Alien cover that dropped this week for Marvel. Next up is Thor 11. This might be the only Marvel title this week that I didn't, or this actually I wasn't able to grab the Alien variant for. Unfortunately, damn it. Thor is also a series by Donny Cates, and it is also pretty freaking amazing. So, I think this might be my favorite series of 2020. I think it dropped in 2020. But regardless, please go ahead and do yourself a favor if you're not reading this. Start picking this up. I think the first trade released, so read that. Catch up on Thor on the Donny Cates and Nick Klein run. This is also a badass cover, I'm not going to lie. Doesn't have Alien, but what are you going to do? You guys are going to think I'm just an idiot for just going through these and be like, yeah, I just like the Alien cover. But honestly, I just like the Alien cover. Guardians of the Galaxy, number 10, badass Alien cover variant. You have Groot and Rocket down here. Go ahead, grab whatever you guys want. If you do like these variants, I'm going to be honest with you guys on this one too. I am not up to date on Guardians of the Galaxy. I just like the Alien variant. Big surprise. Oh my God. This one. There's a big problem with this book right now. It's not an Alien variant, but it is an Archam cover. And it is a first issue that I was pretty interested in getting to read. It is Return of the Valkyries, number 1. This is a King in Black tie-in, so I talked about this in one of my last videos. King in Black is a huge event going on for Marvel, so make sure you're reading it. I don't know too much about Valkyrie or the Valkyries, but I do know Archam does some phenomenal covers that you'll see here. And it is a title that I was interested in when I saw it get released on previews. So pick this up. Okay, and my final title, and also a number 1 issue, is Star Wars The High Republic. This is cover B. There are a lot of covers out there, guys, right now. If you're a huge Star Wars fan, maybe you want to get one of those like premiere variants, or I think there's a 1 in 25. There's probably a 1 per store. Maybe you want to get a special variant because this might end up being a pretty popular book in the Marvel comic series. So I'm looking forward to reading this. I think you really can't go wrong picking up a Star Wars book right now. There is a lot of good stuff that has happened and is happening currently. And I've mentioned this a lot. I am not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I do thoroughly enjoy what they've been doing with their comic book series for Star Wars. So that finishes off Marvel. Let's get into some DC madness. A lot of covers, a lot of books I picked up this week. That's because Future State dropped. Future State is the new event, I guess, for DC Comics. And the first one here I have is Future State, The Next Batman #1. What's going on? Well, let me back up. What's happening is Future State, it's the revamping of a lot of these characters, these superheroes. But they're all being revamped in different ways. Some of them have a new character taking on the mantle of the superhero, and that is where we'll get into Batman. Batman is actually not Bruce Wayne anymore. He's somebody else. I'm not going to spoil it for you, even though that was a pretty big spoiler, I guess, but you should have already known that already if you have read any of the solicitations for this book. But there are different things going on with all of the main superheroes and characters in DC that they're doing these titles for. Like Harley Quinn only has 2 issues. I think Harley Quinn is still Harleen Quinzel. They're not necessarily changing that character, but Wonder Woman, for example, her mantle is being taken on by somebody else as well. So I'm giving all these books a chance. And you'll see online when they announced this whole Future State event, a lot of people weren't happy with change. Surprisingly. It's not surprising. Comic book readers, and I don't know why this is. I feel differently, but a lot of them, I'm not going to say the majority, but a lot of them feel like these characters should not be changed at all, that we should always keep doing the same thing with the same villains, with the same person who is the superhero. I don't necessarily agree with that. I'm going to give all of these books a chance. That's all I can do. I'm going to read them. I'm going to form my own opinion. Whether I like it or not, I'll decide. First one up is this The Next Batman. Awesome cover because you actually have the new Batman featured on here. I think it's an important cover to pick up. This one is done by Oliver Coipel, I think his last name is. It's a cardstock cover, which DC does a great job with. They're an extra $1. But as I said, I will always pay that extra $1 to get a nice, pristine cover just like this. All right, so with me getting that off my chest, I'm going to try to fly through these right now. Next one up is Future State, Harley Quinn. This is only going to be one of 2 issues, I believe. So this is a very short run. I don't know why they did that. I'm a little scared to read this because if I end up really liking it, I'm going to want more than 2 issues. I'm sure there was a reason for doing that, DC. Well, maybe not. Sometimes I do question the things DC Comics chooses to do, but whatever. This is an amazing cover as well. I picked up a lot of these cover Bs. Cover As were fine. They just didn't really do it for me, and all the cover Bs had this nice cardstock on them, so maybe you guys want to consider that. All right, we have Future State, The Flash #1. Dude, look at these covers. They're so freaking crazy. This one is like, look at this thing. God damn. When you get into your shop today, really look at the cover A's and B's. I'm not going to lie, you're going to be like, man, these cover B's are so much more badass, because they are. Cover A's were okay. They had that flimsy, just regular paper cover, $1 less. I'm going with cover B's this week. Gotta. I guess I lied to you guys, because not going with all the cover B's. This is actually cover A for Superman. It is a bigger issue. This is a $6 issue with just the cover A. So the cover B was another extra $1. It was a $7 issue. I actually preferred this cover over the cover B. Cover B was done by In-Yuk Lee. I usually am a huge fan of his work. This week, I don't know. I just didn't love the cover that was put out. So I picked up cover A, which is probably a good thing. Whatever. This is one of the titles I'm actually more excited for. Curious to see what they do with Superman, because I didn't read too much about what they were planning for Future State. I knew about Batman, I knew about Wonder Woman, I knew about Harley Quinn. Did not know much about what was going to happen with Superman. I think you should just give it a try. Give all these titles a try. See what you like. Continue the books that you see value in, for the story, see value in for the potential of the character. Love Swamp Thing. Of course, I have to pick up Future State, Swamp Thing #1. Another series. I'm really interested to see what they do with this character. I don't know if somebody else is taking up The role is Swamp Thing. Pretty cool cover here. Not sure who the two characters in the background are there. Actually, there's eyes right here. This might be Swamp Thing down here. I don't know. Swamp Thing is always going to get my purchase. Oh my God, another unbelievable cover from DC. Another cover B. This is Wonder Woman Future State, #1. And this is drawn by Jenny Frison. And I just kind of discovered her over the last 6 months or so. Wasn't too familiar with her work previously. But she does a lot of variant covers. Whenever she has a cover, especially her variants are freaking unbelievable. When she does put out a variant cover, I always love to grab it. And this is honestly probably one of the coolest ones I've ever seen. For that reason, I'm going to give this my cover of the week. I wasn't too excited about picking up the Wonder Woman title this week. It wasn't because wasn't me excited for a new Wonder Woman comic. It was more so because I was just kind of tired about hearing about Wonder Woman these past 2 weeks. I was exhausted. I saw the movie. I did a review on the movie. It wasn't my favorite DCEU film. I did like Patty Jenkins' first Wonder Woman film. I just didn't think the second one was that good. A lot of people felt differently. That's fine. But people just wouldn't shut up on the internet. It was getting pretty ridiculous. Everyone has their opinions. Yes, I know that. I was exhausted. So I went into the comic book shop. I was going to pick up this no matter what. I was going to get to reading it. I just needed a little break from hearing about Wonder Woman for a second. But of course, I was flipping through the comics and I saw this cover. I was like, God damn it, that's the best cover they released for Future State. And rightfully so, I have to give it my cover of the week. Jenny Frison does an amazing job. It has me more excited now for this title. Great cover. Guys, please go ahead and buy this. And my final book of the week is actually not a Future State book, but it is Dark Knight's Death Metal 7. Another book I was pretty skeptical about when I first heard it was getting released. A lot of people don't love this character right here, the Batman Who Laughs. People are sick of him. I get that too. There's a lot of hype with this villain. There's been a lot of hype over the last 2-3 years or whatever it's been. But man, they've done a good job. Well, Snyder and Capullo and whoever else are on these books. They've done a great job with this series so far. I think they're getting towards the end. This actually might be the last issue. I'm not sure, but it's getting to that point, guys. So why not? There are plenty of covers. This is the Finch cover. It is cover B, and usually the Finch covers are a hit, as you will see. Cover A was also pretty awesome. I mean, they put out 5 covers for this book every week it comes out, but Finch always does a great job with his work. And even if you are one of the many that think Batman Who Laughs has been beaten to the ground, I still think this is a really cool Batman Who Laughs cover, so I grabbed it. Well, thank you for sticking it out with me. If you're still here at the end of the video, this has been my top comic book picks for Wednesday, January 6th. Damn, this year's already flying by. It's been 6 days. Let me know what you guys picked up this week, what I'm missing, what you're looking forward to. I want to hear from all of you. And if you haven't done so already, guys, please hit that subscribe button down below. Help me out. Smash that like button. Hit that notification bell. Get those updates whenever I post these new comic book pick videos. Until next week, jumps out.